Hey, what's up, y'all? So yesterday there was a segment on ESPN featuring Austin Rivers, and it was talking about who is the most influential player of all time in the NBA. And some people are saying that ESPN is known for controlling the message on the show. That is what some people are claiming. But when I was looking at the segment, this time what happened was he actually was able, without them interrupting, was able to say that he actually believes that Kobe and MJ are the most influential players of all time. So I actually want to show this clip to y'all, and then I'm going to come back with my comments.
Who do you
mentioned it once.
think has had the biggest influence on the NBA today?
If we're talking about today, then Stephen Curry has to be that person. If we're talking historically, it starts and ends with Michael Jordan. I think we're quick to just forget about what he's done for the game. It was interesting to hear LeBron on that podcast with JJ talk about most influential and not name MJ, considering, this guy still outsells anybody today in sneaker sales for a reason. He's the most iconic player to ever play the game. If you don't know this, go watch the Dream Team documentary and you can kind of get an idea of who this guy is and what he did for the game of basketball. So much so that a guy who's the lower and version under him would be like a Kobe Bryant, right? He's like his little brother. That's a guy who influenced the game. When I look at Devin Booker, he has Be Legendary tattooed on him. I see Jason Tatum have a Kobe Bryant Mamba tattoo on him. We talk about Mamba mentality almost every week. These are guys who changed the game. A lot of two guards emulate their game. Every good two guard we get in the NBA, we compare them to who? Kobe Bryant. He reminds me of Michael Jordan, of this, and that. That's who we compare Ant to, right? These are the guys who also pioneered the game and changed the game and had a huge influence. Now, we talk Stephen Curry. That's an impact on game in terms of playing style, three-pointers being shot. He's the greatest shooter of all time. He and Iverson are guys who are 6 foot, 6'2", if we're being generous. They're very obtainable to the eye. People look at those guys and say, man, I think I could do that. I think I could be that. If they could do it, I can do it. When you look at LeBron James and you look at Michael, these guys are 6'6", 6'7", freak of nature athletes, although Iverson was a freak athlete within himself, so I'm doing him a disservice there. But still, these guys, from a height standpoint, I think people saw that they could, do these things. I mean, Stephen A., I think you'd probably have to agree with me. I know you're a Michael guy, but him and Kobe, for me, are guys who are left out. Specifically Kobe. People always leave him out the mix. We always jump to AI because of his culture and him wearing the clothes he wears. And now we see Shay and Westbrook and all these guys do that. By the way, Adam Silver's name should be thrown in there because if David Stern, God bless his soul, was still around, we'd probably be still wearing suits to the game. I'm not even kidding. So there's a lot that goes to why we're at where we're at now. A lot of names in that hat. But playing style, culture are two different things. Iverson's more of a culture icon. Stephen Curry changed the way teams play. It's a copycat league. First, there was no room for bigs. Now suddenly we're seeing bigs. I watched the game the other night. I think it was the Cavs versus the Bulls. There was 4 centers on the court. So, now that the Nuggets are winning, now we're seeing teams put an emphasis on getting centers again. It's always going to be a copycat league, up and down. We were in an era where people were shooting too many threes. We got too many guys thinking they're Stephen Curry and they're not. There's only one of those. So, he's definitely had an impact on the game. He's definitely up there on that list. I like LeBron throwing Steph on that list, but leaving Jordan out and Kobe out for me doesn't make a lot of sense. Those two guys have to be in the mix.
Okay, so on LeBron James' podcast, he said that the most influential basketball player of all time, except for himself, was Stephen Curry. He said that light-skinned dude is the most influential player of all time. And a lot of people are saying that the reason why I said that is because he wanted himself to be the GOAT and he didn't want to mention Michael Jordan's name. So it's actually refreshing to hear Austin Rivers talk about that Kobe and Jordan are the GOATs. They're the most influential players of all time. And he also mentioned AI, Allen Iverson. And he said that he wasn't the most influential player on the court. He was good, but it was actually outside where he was influencing people with his style. Because nowadays we can see so many basketball players trying to copy AI when it comes to having a great style and having great fashion sense. And I actually agree with Austin Rivers 100% because he's so petty how LeBron James decided to create his own podcast to spin the narrative that he is the GOAT. He should let the public decide who is the GOAT of all time, and the people have spoken, and that is for sure Michael Jordan. And I actually want to big up AI because he's the one who pulled up to the game with braids. He's the one who pulled up to the game with tattoos. That is actually something that the NBA, they actually tried to ban that. They didn't want players to have tattoos. So he actually expressed himself with tattoos, embraced in his fashion sense, and that he actually gave that to the new generation now, because now this generation, they can have tattoos because of AI. And this is something that you can see even in schools today, where they don't allow kids to have braids. There have been actually black students that were sent home because they were wearing braids. So it's actually still going on today. And that just goes to show that that's a important topic. So I actually want to say that, just like Austin Rivers said, I want to say that AI, he's also one of the most influential players of all time. Maybe not on the floor, but outside of the game. But he was most definitely a good player as well. And I actually want to know what y'all think about this. Who do you think are the most influential player of all time in the NBA? Let me know in the comment section. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, watch next video. Sagafia.